Today, my guest, my friend, the Gino Morrow, is joining us. You guys have no idea. I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot even believe this is such an honor. Gino, thank you for joining me today. I'm absolutely honored to have you on the show. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to share with you guys that I have my very first sponsor for my YouTube channel, Iconic Creations. And I will spell that for you because it's a little different. It's Iconic Creations. It's CRE, the number eight, TIONS. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Every piece is handmade, every piece is a one of a kind, just like you. Hello, everyone. This is Marcia. Welcome once again to the Rancher and Stilettos presents Cocktails and Conversations. Thank you guys so much for all your support throughout this year. It's been amazing. I want to make sure that you guys still, if you haven't subscribed already, that you do so. And please, please, please be sure to like and comment so that I get an idea of how I can continue to make this an even better platform for you guys to join. Today, my guest, my friend, the Gino Morrow, is joining us.
Well,
Hello.
Marsha, thank you for bringing me onto your platform. And let me just say before we jump into our conversation, how number one, I'm grateful that you invited me. Number two, when you invited me, I was like, oh shit. Let me see how what I'm going to pull together for this conversation because number one, you've always set a standard. Even when we were neighbors, you validated the standard that my wife and I celebrated in terms of our culture. But you also, it was like, okay, we're not the only ones who think crazy like this, but Marsha has a bar. Like Marsha sets the standard. So I was grateful to be asked. And it helped me realize, okay, I can shine without feeling like I need to dim my light. On
Absolutely,
platform. So
absolutely. And this is something that I have admired about you for years is you just in your zone, you in your vibe. You were someone that reminded me that there are other people like me, like-minded about my culture and about being present in my culture and celebrating my culture and
mhm.
uplifting my culture, sharing that with the world. And you've done that through work, through your art, especially. And
Mhm.
I'm fortunate enough to know a little bit about it, but I want to share it with my viewers as well. And I want to just toast to the fact that I got you on here. Yay! Hey, that's a win for me, my friend. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers. And we got to see you as you developed and wrote The Rancher and Stilettos. Like, I
Right?
mean,
I
yeah,
started during COVID. It's my COVID baby.
yeah. And so, we would engage in conversations and you tell us how you're progressing with the book and then what happened after the book was written and the publishing process and then the filming process. And I was like, man, like that's an artist who's dedicated to their craft. They don't just talk about the idea. She doesn't just talk about the idea. She actually
Oh my
puts
God.
faith and
Yes,
meditation and
yes.
prayer into it and does her part of the work so that God can manifest the other part of it. And I'm watching your faith follow through in your works and
I
and
love
that's
that.
inspiring.
I love
Yeah,
that. Thank you. Thank you. And sometimes when you are in a creative place, there's a saying I saw not too long ago where, it's just like having a baby. Not everybody can be in the room with you,
that's
right?
right.
You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? There's pain that comes with that, and not everybody's supposed to see that. You
That's right.
you got a chance to see some of that pain. You got a chance to see some of that doubt, even, and know that even though I was scared a lot of the time because I'm like in uncharted territory,
Hmm.
the passion to put it out there was greater. It was
Yeah.
greater than the fear. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how about I'm living next door to you and have to read, find out in the streets, as they say, that you are in your hometown of Buffalo, New York, creating,
Yeah.
creating not just a small piece of art, but an art that will live into perpetuity.
Yeah.
And that was the Harriet Tubman Mural for the city of Buffalo, New York. Talk
Yeah.
to me about how that came about, and first of all, how you must feel as a homeboy. And there a competition to pick the person, and so you had to go through all. Talk to me.
All right. All right. So if would you like me to share my screen really quick and show
Yes,
so that your
please.
audience can see
Yes.
okay, great. So I'm going to go to the Harriet Tubman piece and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the process of how there's a series of pieces that I've done that I'm
I
prepared to
love
share, but
those.
this is one of them. So I'm going to skip through it really quick, see if you're at number 7, maybe at number 6. There we
Beautiful,
go.
beautiful. Oh,
There we go. All
look
right.
at
So
that.
So this was an interesting process. So I still got family and friends in Buffalo, New York, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, they're putting out a request for proposals for work down in Broderick Park, which is now called Freedom Park. It's a park that's directly on the Niagara River on the American side in
Hmm.
Buffalo. That was where that's where the Underground Railroad passed,
Right.
and a lot of the brothers and sisters who were escaping enslavement would come through Buffalo and then risk going across the Niagara River, which is not like the flow of water, because this is what leads to Niagara Falls. So as you might imagine, the flow of water is fast
Yep. Yep.
and it's wide. We're talking like this is probably like 10 football fields wide,
Right.
the distance from the American side to the Canadian side. So anyway, that's where this underpass is. That was and they had a budget to create sculptures and murals commemorating that park. And so a friend told me about the request for proposals, and I figured why not? Why not?
I
So
love it.
I sent in a proposal, and it's divine when I waited until the last day. I was just like, I don't know if I got a good idea. I don't know. So the day before it was due, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna throw it together and see. They like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Sent it out. I later received a letter told that I received that I was awarded
I love
the
it.
the project, and I think they said they had something between like 30 and 40 artists submit for it, and they selected my work, and I got excited because they had a nice budget for it, and then I got scared because I'm like, wow, this is the biggest piece of artwork I have ever created in my life, or that I need to prepare to create, and something so massive. I'm like, how do I maintain scale? How do I maintain
Right.
proportion? How do I maintain color balance and all of these other things? So I went through that process of getting fearful, and dealing with my fears. The bigger fears, though, didn't occur until I was actually set up at that wall and I had to start working on that thing. And then the fears.
Right.
And
Right.
what you
It's
can't
massive.
see, it's massive. It's 65 feet wide, 14 feet tall. I had scaffolds, and you can't see, but like Buffalo is infested with spiders. So it was spiders everywhere,
Oh
everywhere.
no.
So I had to get past the spiders. I had to get past being on the side of the expressway where traffic passes by. I had to get past my own personal fears of, I don't really have a fear of painting in public. But like, when you're painting in public, everybody wants to have a conversation. No,
Right.
they see you
Right.
doing this work and they're like, and people want to engage. And
And then you're actually on a schedule. You have a deadline, definitely,
right,
right? Yeah.
right,
So you got to
right.
manage the traffic as well.
That's right.
Mhm.
So that became a fun part of the entire process. But yeah, I spent 3 months out of the summer in 2000. It was 2022, I think, or 2021. I can't remember. 3 months out of the summer working on the mural, mostly on weekends and evenings.
Okay.
And yeah, and then they had a ceremony, and the mayor and the governor came, and three news stations, and a friend of mine who's a journalist for one of the news stations came out from high school and interviewed me, and it was amazing. It was
I
an
just
amazing
love
experience.
it. And of course, everybody I know has seen this because I just immediately shared it out on social media. I'm just absolutely just so proud of you. And I think
Thank
the
you.
piece, the end result is absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. And some of the details, some of the things that people may not know and I think it was in one of your questions. So if I ask one of your questions ahead of time, just, I don't know, edit
It's
it or
okay. It's okay. It's just us. Come on.
cool. So when I was considering what I would create, one of the things I wanted to stay away from the things we see all the time,
Yep.
like Harriet breaking chains, or Harriet running from a slave master with a whip, or Harriet on a horse and people looking in the dark like, Lord Jesus, where they coming to get her? I just didn't want to project that into our community. I wanted the imagery to be more subtle and impactful and more hopeful.
Yes. Yes.
Because this could be anybody. This doesn't, like, you can take Harriet out of the picture and add anybody, and it would just still be a beautiful painting.
And the hope does definitely resonate. I think as I'm looking at the background and you see, is that like a lightning strike in the back?
That's correct.
Okay, so and there's mountains, there's terrain, and for me, it's like the forefront says we got through all of that.
Yes.
We got through all of that, and there's growth, there's life happening in front of us, right?
That's right. That's
I
right.
love it.
That's right. So you picked a lot of the imagery. You picked up on a lot of the imagery. So the idea is they have a past. So I like to do juxtaposition of concepts. So I
Yep.
always do a yin and a yang. So I got the young and the old. I got the new and the old. In terms of the future and the past. So we got the young and the old, the past and the future. We have sun and rain. We have a lot of juxtaposition of dualities going on. And in the background, behind Harriet is a dark past. In the forefront of, or ahead of her, is the beautiful future that's bright with life. The
Love it.
monarch butterfly, ironically, not ironically, I think it was all in divine, all in divine purpose. My mother's name is Mona. She passed away like the year after, I
I
think.
remember. Yeah.
And it was Tasha. She's like, Mona is the first four letters in monarch. And funny, the monarch butterfly, I took a
Yeah.
picture when I was there
Yeah.
because there was a monarch butterfly that flew by while I was painting it. I was like, that's all in divine order.
Totally divine intervention right there.
So the monarch butterfly is supposed to be, or symbolic of, the intuitive journey to freedom and life, because they would travel from the north to the south and back when they would reproduce.
Right.
And so the monarch represents that intuitive nature to go where you're destined to be. Um,
Exactly.
and then the lightning in the background is the actual path of the Underground Railroad from Canada to the South of America. Not
Oh,
South America, but the South of America. So I
right.
took that off of a map and
Oh,
used it as the lightning.
dude. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's so smart. I love that.
So those are the kind of things I tried to implement and incorporate so that it was more subtle. It wasn't so in your face with, and then the lightning always represents the crack of the whip, like
Yep,
the
yep,
sound of lightning,
yep.
or thunder, represents the crack of the whip. So there were things that I wanted to introduce without necessarily smacking us in the face with things we often see, because to
Yeah.
me, I wanted to free our minds out of
Right,
the
right,
idea of slavery and
right,
not keep representing the icons that prevents us from becoming free.
right, right.
So
And people should be able to look at art and receive it where they are. And it could either just be a beautiful painting. And then if you're somebody like myself who just needs to know the story behind it, so
yeah,
you can go down that rabbit hole as well. But just as a piece of art, it is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely
thank you.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, my
Question.
pleasure.
Your art uplifts Black culture in such a powerful and intentional way.
Mhm.
As a Black artist, what intentional responsibility or even pressure do you feel when you're visually interpreting our history, our beauty, and our truth?
The main pressure that I feel is, am I being true to myself? And which means, am I being honest to God? Like, if am I telling God the truth of
Mm-hmm.
my experience through my work?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main pressure, because I had the benefit of practicing my craft when I didn't have the burden of responsibility. I was a child. My mother
Right.
sat me down when she was cleaning our house and said, "Keep busy. Here's a piece of paper, a pencil. Here's a Stevie Wonder album cover. Draw Stevie."
Okay. But
And
she's seen that in you already.
I don't think no, she didn't. She learned from doing that. From giving me that experience. See, for
Okay.
her, it was just sitting me down to get me out of the way.
Right. Okay.
And then she was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, this
Wait
little
a
nigga
minute.
got
Wait a
talent."
minute. Yeah, we've got some real serious talent here. I need to nurture that.
Yeah, yeah. And so she then began to invest in me in ways that would bring that out more. So it was sort of like, but I didn't have I had the full, like, I could just draw. I got into art school in the fifth grade. I went to a performing arts academy. I would practice art for almost 2 hours a day, daily, from the fifth grade on through the 12th grade. So I got to nurture my talent as an artist before, like, well, a lot of people don't discover their creativity until they're adults. And then it's like, well, how can I make some money off of this? They're trying to position themselves to capitalize
Right.
without having honed in on their
Right.
craft.
Right.
I had the fortune of being able to hone in on my craft and develop it before I needed to
That's a
use it to
gift.
learn. Yeah.
That's a real gift. It is. And
So the burden for me is the burden was, and I'm sorry, I know your time is limited, so I'm
no,
quick.
no, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
The burden for me is, it was only being true to what I had already developed and honed over the years. Like, just be honest about it.
I think that you're talking about finding your purpose, but also allowing that purpose to just sit in itself for a while instead of it needing to be something that needs to immediately generate income.
Mhm.
So for many years, both of us have done the corporate thing where
Mhm.
you were in creative design. Am I right about that? Was that your
Yeah,
background?
yes,
Yeah.
that's partially accurate. I was mostly creative design, but then I decided to go into software engineering because just the money was better.
Yep, different money, different money. I get it. And you know what? I think I knew I should have been writing like forever because I really love the stories and telling stories.
Mhm.
But again, it's like, how do I take care of myself? Am I a good enough writer? Am I owning it? And I will tell you, recently, I had a sit down conversation with a lady I partnered with to help me move my books to the next step. She basically said, okay, here's tough love. Now
Mhm.
I'm grown, okay, at this point. I'm not a
Right,
child,
right, right.
but I said, if I'm going to invest something in me, I need to listen to what they're saying, right? That's when everything turned around. And this was on the last book. The last book is a bestseller, right?
Wow.
Because I listened in how I was promoting, but she also wanted me to change the covers of the book and
Yeah,
really her take on it. And I love the original covers. I did.
yeah, yeah,
But from someone who's used to what does sell, and I mean, I'm out here in these streets every day. I want to at least let this stuff pay for itself.
yeah.
So I'm like,
Right.
okay, I'm going to take your advice on that. This lady basically asked me the question, and I had not thought about it really. She said, "Why is your name so small on the cover?" And I
Mm.
was like, I just, was designing the cover. We are working on it. And I just said, okay, put the name on the bottom. She said, no, you're the brand. Your name should be at the top and it should be the biggest thing. Okay, that part. Cheers.
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 Tough love.
She said, you have to learn this business, and this business needs you out front. You have to be the face. People are going to identify with you, not so much with the story, right?
Mhm.
It took me a lot of effort to push through because I'm, as a marketing person for years, decades, I didn't see it, like never like to see people self promote. It just seems
Yeah,
so crass, man. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's my job. Okay, let me I'll block and tackle that part. Okay. But for you
yeah.
to be out there bragging on yourself, that's just kind of funky and weird.
Oh, Marsha, I'll be in the same boat.
Yeah, yeah. It's, you know what, and we got to work together to get out of that because I have this whole YouTube presence that
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep a culture, uplifted. And then I see these people that just come on here and like eat a plate of food and they've got like millions of views and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so my thing is, okay, you knock yourself out. That's your thing. I ain't mad at you. I
yeah.
can't do that. Okay,
Right.
that's not who I am.
Yeah,
I'm not, get your bag. I don't have a problem with it. But
right,
I have to stand behind what I am telling people. I have to
right.
feel like it is really authentic to me. Otherwise, I just would feel like a phony. And that person I cannot market.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I know
yeah.
with you, you're like almost reticent about how many years before I knew that you were like not just an artist, but like a really full-fledged, like major dude artist. And I'm like, and now I'm like, telling the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah,
I was so proud, and I am
yeah.
so proud. And the fact that your authentic self is fun, it is like engaging. So talk to me about how just people approach you when they want a piece of art done, and what does that look like to you in terms of your legacy around art?
Well, the reality is not a lot of people approach me about art because I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of skills. And
Right.
art is probably the one that I lean, like visual art, like painting is the one that I lean on the least for my livelihood.
Revenue, right?
So a lot of people are surprised. And then it's sort of like my experience with you. You learned about my art and you started sharing it with people. Then all of a sudden I had, people ask me if I could create something for them. And
Yes.
that's typically how it goes. Now I am being a little more deliberate about it. Like I'm actually working on a few series, and I'm looking to do some shows in the summer
Okay.
of 2026 in hopes of marketing myself more as an artist. I think I'm getting to the place in life where you are and where you became through the Rancher and Stilettos. Like you realized you
Yeah.
need to write.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I did that mural in Buffalo,
Oh,
I
amazing.
realized I need to paint. I need to paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when you recognize it is your gift, so if God gave it to you, He is going to help keep that gift out in front. We're the ones that go, but I don't know, that looks a little hard, and I don't want to really talk to people because I can be super shy. I'm like, really.
Which is funny to think about.
No, no, I'm like literally like low key introvert. All right.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
I can do the people thing, but I don't need the people thing. Right.
That's why we vibrate on the same frequency. We kindred spirits. This is the
Yes.
same thing.
Yes. Oh my God. So you answered part of that question, and I'm gonna say I
Uh-huh.
hear you that you haven't really been intentional about the marketing piece of it and putting it
Mhm.
out there. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk
All right.
because yeah, I got you, me and you.
Okay.
All right,
All
because
right.
you're too good. You're too good. The world,
Uh,
more of the world needs to see your artistry, and that's just my humble opinion.
Thank you. Thank you.
But the other piece, go ahead.
No, no, no. You're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the other piece that I asked about is how you feel about, look at this whole mural that's going to be in this city for years and years. That's your legacy. How do you feel about that, knowing that you are leaving something, your art is something that people will look at when you're gone?
Honored.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe God chose me. That's how it felt. Like,
I
God,
know.
you chose me for this. Like, you
Yes,
chose me for this. I
yes,
get to do this. And then it became a mission to do my best. Like,
right,
oh, I am absolutely going to
right.
show out.
You just said something that's interesting. You said it became your mission at that point to do your best.
Yeah,
And isn't that funny how we will take our purpose, our God-given gift, and push it down because you don't even want to hear it right now. I love them streets. You know me, I love to be somewhere else. And it
yeah.
wasn't until COVID happened that I was like, okay, God, I got this outline. And in my head, I could hear, I don't know what else I can do, sis. I literally stopped the entire world. If you can't come out of this with something to show for it, I don't know what to tell you, right? And that was a push for me. And it, literally, I was cooking 3 meals a day, bringing you food and stuff, overfeeding the neighborhood basically.
Uh-huh.
And because I was want something to do, something that I enjoyed doing,
Oh,
which for me.
you was cooking.
Okay. And I'm telling you, and cooking for me is another expression of art. It really
Right,
is,
right. Yeah,
because I take it from an artistic level and I see it as a way to create. But to have that time and not at least finish that first book, which what I did was I put it out before I finished the book.
yeah,
I started
yeah,
promoting it
yeah, yeah.
before I finished it.
So
And
you didn't have a choice but to finish it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we're talking about legacy. How do
Uh-huh.
you feel your art will resonate in the future, and how does that impact your thought as you're creating now?
I had the beauty of experiencing people engage me as I'm creating.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant mothers with children, fathers with wives,
Right.
family members would come up just so that they could say, our children met the artist who created this artwork.
I
You know,
love that.
I got to
Oh,
experience that. Like,
oh,
you can't
wow.
imagine that when you're
No,
planning,
no,
and
no.
then you experience it and you're like, I'm already having an impact and I'm just starting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't even finished it. And the impact, people became proud. Like, it wasn't a corporation coming in, smacking up something in 3 days. It was
Right,
a man sitting on a ladder
right,
or on the ground for 3 months. Every
right.
day they walking by the park
I love that. Oh my
going,
goodness.
somebody actually, and that's a process that people don't get to see too often.
Yeah,
They don't get to
yeah,
engage in
yeah,
that depth of creativity,
yeah.
that up and close. So people were like, this is amazing. And I got to go, wow. And I get to be a part of this. So to know that I did that, to know that they even changed the name of the park after the mural was
I
completed,
love it. I
was
love it.
like they changed it from Broderick Park to Freedom Park,
Yes, yes.
So it it made me go, okay, God, don't let this be the last one. And then I got another one and another one. So it's been promoting me as an artist.
Well, I want to encourage you to, do something that I found difficult to do, and I will support you, and that is to begin to self-promote more. It is other people need to see your work.
Mhm.
That's how good you are.
Thank
Other
you.
people need to be inspired. Other people that you can't keep it to yourself. Okay. It's
Right.
God given, which means you have to give it back. Okay. You got to give it out, send it
That's
forward.
right. That's
I'm
right.
telling you, man, I am honored to even be, in the company of someone who is so humble and just I just I'm a fan. I've
Mhm.
always been a fan.
Mhm.
And then you've done things to and created art for my family,
Mhm.
and did not stop until it was exactly what was wanted. Whether it was even like your vision initially, that was like, no, no, no. I want my client to have what she really anticipated. And she brings people through her house as part of the tour of her house now, is to
Yeah.
see how you
Love.
reproduced a garden for her that she knew would eventually die away, but
Uh-huh.
you helped her to create it so that it lives forever in a
That's
beautiful
love.
painting. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that opportunity. That was another one of those. Oh, okay. So thank you.
Well, and I love you because you also that person that artist to artist as I'm
Uh-huh.
writing. you were like the first person to really support me. I kind of didn't even want to share because, it's like if I changed my mind, kind of holding that
Yeah.
little loop back.
Uh-huh.
And you were that one of the people that was like, no, I see it. I said, talk to me about it first. And the more I talked about it, it came to life, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
you're an
Oh,
official rancher. I get it. It's a romance novel. Most of my audience happens to be women, but you
uh,
didn't really have an option. You had to become a rancher. You and
I did. I did because I learned about all your close friends who you wrote into the book, and I
yes.
learned about those relationships, and it was far more. The audience might as well get jealous because it was far more interesting to hear you tell me the stories. You know, I got to hear them firsthand.
I know, because I was literally in your ear, with ideas, and you would give me feedback, but I was on pins and needles waiting for your feedback from after you got the first book and got to read it. And now we are 4 books in on this journey. Can
And
you
I didn't
believe
even
it?
know a fourth book was written.
Yeah, the fourth book is the prequel.
Oh, is that with the new cover? The one you
Yes,
said? Okay,
yes.
okay, okay, okay,
It's the rancher before Stilettos.
okay.
So it's
All
the
right.
prequel.
I got to catch up.
Yeah, that's okay. I got you. I'll make
Okay.
sure you get a copy. Okay, I wanted to ask one more question. As Black art collectors, which me and you
Uh-huh.
both are, we
Uh-huh.
often gravitate toward pieces that talk back to us
Yeah.
emotionally, spiritually, and historically. When
Yeah.
you create, who do you imagine you're speaking to?
Man, that's an awesome question. Okay, I have a multifaceted response to that, a reply to that. I imagine first, so I've been an artist for a very long time, and I learned something about my subconscious desires, as an artist. What art has become to me. I heard it might have been Eckhart Tolle, I think it was Eckhart Tolle in his book,
Mhm.
A New Earth. And I'm sure somewhere in the Bible, just written differently, but Eckhart Tolle
Right,
says, we speak because we're not at peace with our thoughts. And that translated to me in a number of ways. Another way it translated to me was as an artist. See, for me, art was not a visual presentation of my inner thoughts. It was a solution to a problem that I was encountering. And this tool happened to be the means that I could best express the answer. This paintbrush, this pencil, whatever the tool was the best way for me to express the problem that I was burdened with. So, and I started observing that about other artists that I studied. I mean, Black, White, Romir Bearden,
hmm
Henry Ossawa Tanner, even the guy who cut his ear off,
Picasso,
uh,
Picasso,
Picasso. No, but I was thinking of Rembrandt. No, not
Rembrandt,
Rembrandt. Not Rembrandt. The one that did Starry Skies, Starry Night. I forget
Monet,
his name. No,
Monet.
no, not Monet, not Monet. But suffice to say, because it's gonna hit us, and then we go, oh yeah.
I know.
But
Yeah, yeah. No worries.
but the point is, like, he cut his ear off, and then he painted a picture of himself with his.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like artists tend to like artists who are deeply entrenched at a subconscious level in their craft, they create because it's their way of finding a solution through a problem that they're encountering. And archaeologists, when they dig up art, one of the things that it tells them is what problems the people were encountering at the time.
Exactly.
And so for me, like when I think of who I'm creating for, first it's for God. I'm always creating for God first because just me and dealing with my subconscious thoughts is me aligning my fleshly person with my spiritual person. And the spiritual person is not necessarily conscious of all of these little details, or the fleshly person may not be conscious of all of these little details, but the aligning of those two entities within myself to become one is becoming in sync with our creator. So for me, I'm addressing God first
Right,
because I'm addressing the things that I'm fighting internally. Secondly, then I'm going, now if I want to sell this, who do I sell it to?
right,
And why would they be attracted to it? And then
right.
all of the marketing stuff around it starts to bubble up. And then I start thinking, okay, is there a way for me to add a layer of attraction for that group? And so, but the artists that I admire the most are the ones who say, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing it.
Oh my God, that's some peace right there. That is
Yeah.
some peace. That is peace.
Yeah.
Because
So,
we're out here in this very loud world, and if you're not careful, a couple of things I find with myself is so easy to get distracted because you don't want to face the art.
yeah.
You don't want to face the art right now. So somebody needs something. Oh, I can do that. Okay, fine, fine, fine. Somebody. So you're like on really a treadmill of distraction,
Yeah.
just trying to keep busy because busy is better than not being busy, but you're not busy doing what you need to be doing. And
Yeah.
so you're not leveled out. You feel that, I guess, that struggle. You're feeling that struggle. And that's why when someone gives you a task, it's almost like you're like, oh, great, something I can do. Okay. Without having to feel it, without having to think about it. It's art to be an artist and to be really honest with yourself has to happen to be a good artist.
It has to.
Because at some point, what I'm sure of is I can't look in the mirror and lie to me. Okay.
Right. Right.
Because you're an artist, you feel it, you being a phony, so you got to pull it back. You got,
Right.
and if that means pull it all the way back until you get emotionally where you need to be, sometimes it's even financially where you need to be so that you can move forward in the path that you have established.
Yeah.
Because you can't look in the mirror and feel good about that if you're
Right.
not living up to that level.
So there was another aspect of the Harriet Tubman painting or another reality that I came to understand as I was working on that piece. And I mentioned it earlier in the interview, which is like, after working on that, it was a clear message to me from God that my life was depending on my painting. Like, I knew I had to, from the time I finished that painting, I came home and I said to Tasha, I said, I realize now that painting is prolonging my life. So I need to make a painting a part of my ritual, my daily ritual, or at least integrate it into my life in a way that I'm doing it more frequently, because I wasn't doing it for years at a time. I wasn't painting I was still being creative in ways, but I wasn't painting.
I relate. Same here.
Yeah.
And then once you do start back creating, like, and you're serious about it and you're not going to put it down. And there are times where I'm just like, I just need to take the month off. I just need to not do a book signing for a whole month or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I realized when I see an opportunity, it came to me for a reason.
Yeah.
That didn't just pop up out in the air. I got opportunities coming that I'm not looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, so basically what I was praying for
happened.
It's happened. Okay. So I got to listen to that. I got to listen to that, and I've got to keep pushing myself. But those distractions take time away from my goal. And what I'm learning now is to monitor those and stand up for myself even. And as a Black woman, man, saying no sometimes is just like, I just recently I'm doing a book signing soon, and somebody added like 3 more things to the list of what they wanted me to do while I'm there. And I'm like, okay, but I'm going to be there by myself. I got to manage a table. I got to talk to people. I got to sign books. And I was like, no, you can't do all 3 of these other things, right?
Right.
That wasn't what I was originally asked to be there for. Right. So I called and I said, you know what? I'm going to say no. Because, and I should have just ended it there, really. But I did explain that I would be by myself and I want to be able to focus and get that job done. Yeah. And she came back and said, okay. And I felt so weird.
Because you have to establish healthy boundaries for yourself. And like, you want to take all this on.
I was like, look how easy that was. She just said, oh, okay. And I'm waiting for what? For her to try to talk me into it or something.
But that's the gift and the curse of being an artist, because number one, as an artist, for you to be able to articulate the nuances of all of these relationships and all of the dynamics within those relationships within a book, you have to study people. You have to set your own selfish desires aside to be able to be, you are a people pleaser. And as a result of being a people pleaser, sometimes you lose those healthy boundaries. And when you, like, I'm at an age now, I'm like, man, I'm too old to not know how to say no anymore. Like, I need to start really establishing that no to live, so.
And it's so funny because recently I remember thinking, maybe the people who say no all the time are the smart people, and I'm like respecting them, got mad respect. You can say no and be cool with that and keep moving.
Right.
Mad respect. All right. I mean, and I know I like to solve problems. That's kind of one of my things, So people will come to me with problems. Oh, solve that. Poof, it's gone, But so, I know if I'm gone, they'll figure it out.
So I have a philosophy. I believe the reason, number one, I think AI is a tool of the devil. I use it. I'm not acting like I'm one of those techie, one of those older folk that's like, that's the devil stuff. No, I'm engaged in it enough to recognize how it can be manipulated for the bad purposes. And I recognize the pattern that was taking place when AI was launched, was just immediately it went for the job of people who care.
Yes.
Who have a capacity to love, their jobs were some of the first jobs affected.
If you have a show empathy, absolutely
So
eliminate that first.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Yes. They went after the gigs where people can relate to other people because they understood a long time ago, which is why the arts was well funded at one point. And then this is a pattern. This is a pattern of warfare. Whenever they want to dismantle our growth and development, they funnel money into areas where we can grow, and then they pull the rug from under us. Then we're left going, now what do we do? You mean now that I'm a nurse and I'm a teacher and it's no longer meaningful in this society? That was intentional.
Yeah.
That was all intentional. And I'm saying that to say that as an empathetic person, as a feeler, we are the problem solver. So our creativity is not just confined to our writing. Like, as I said, I'm a painter, but I rarely paint. So our creativity is always geared towards solving our problems.
Thank you.
And once you lose the ability to do that, you lose the ability to connect with God.
Okay. And why do we want to solve problems? Because we love different.
That's right.
Love different, boo. Okay. That's I mean, right. There are, when I tell you I love you, I'm like gum under your shoe, and there are people that will just say it and it's just words.
Just words.
When we say it, we feel it to our core. All right. Which makes it important to solve problems. Again, we're empathetic people and you don't want to see anybody suffer. And to have that taken away, we're losing it, man. We're losing it.
Yeah. So what we do is important for the restoration and the healing of our people and our culture, which is why we got to do more.
I know. Let's promise to keep going. Let's do that. All right. Absolutely. Listen, Gino, honored beyond, blessed beyond to have you on this show. And what I want to toast to you for is just the sheer inspiration that is Gino Morrow. More people need to know who you are. More people need to know about your art. And I'm going to, here I go, I put my hat in the ring. I'm on that team. I am on Team Gino to get the word out about the amazing work that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Marsha. I appreciate all of the support that you've given me over the years. And you have been an amazing creative spirit to bounce ideas back and forth with. So thank you and cheers. And congratulations to building your platform and growing your audience. And the message that you're putting out there is very important.
Oh, thank you for that. And you know what? I'm going to stay true. I'm going to stay true to me. I don't care what everybody else is doing, because I got to show up and be excited to share my message. And the only way I can do that is stay true to myself, right?
Yes.
Thank you, my friend.
Cheers. Love you. Take care.
As an added bonus, when you go to the website or social media of Iconic Creations, please put Rancher in the comments for 10% off.